Basically what you want to do is get into uncomfortably cold water that is safe for you to stay in for a total of 11 minutes per week. That's what the research says. I'm drawing from peer-reviewed studies. First of all, adrenaline release is the common generic signature of stress. You are deliberately putting yourself into stress. If you can learn to calm your mind a bit and relax, or at least make it through that, you are becoming more resilient. You're becoming grittier. You know, we hear about grit, resilience, and mental toughness. We have examples of, David Goggins and these people, but you are learning to manage your thinking under conditions of high adrenaline. So the next time someone cuts in front of you or your partner says something really triggering, you will maintain clearer thinking and clearer mode of action, which is absolutely adaptive. So it's great for resilience training.
Whoa! I found that!
The second thing is that it increases your metabolism, not just while you're in the deliberate cold, but for many, many hours, maybe even days afterwards. And here's the reason. You have fat of the blubbery sort that's called white fat, because it's white under the microscope, and then you have beige fat and brown fat, which is dense with mitochondria, which are the energy factories within cells. Deliberate cold exposure that's uncomfortable stimulates more brown fat, which is kind of like the oil in a candle, and it does two really important things. It makes you more comfortable at cold temperatures. So if you're somebody who's always feeling cold, you need to crank up your brown fat stores, and this is not blubbery fat. It will help burn off the white fat stores. And then the third and kind of final thing is the reduction in inflammation.
Ready.
So we got this new cold plunge. It's actually just a freezer. This deep freezer, chest freezer from old Uncle Steve. He's been using it as a cold plunge. So with this one, we have so much more room for activities. I could actually submerge myself all the way in here with the plan to come back up. And with this new and improved freezer, we have so much more room for activities. I can actually submerge myself under the ice, like an influencer. It would be great.
And this one just has so much more room for activities. I could lay all the way down. I could actually submerge myself beneath the surface of the water, where before, it wasn't really getting past my chest. And the main goal today is to just scrape out the old caulk and Flex Seal, whatever was used to try to keep this thing waterproof, and then re-caulk it, let it dry overnight, and then we'll fill it up in the morning. Is that about everything?
Dad, do you think you'll do it when it's nice and big like this?
Sure, I will finish off.
Did you get that? Dad just said that he'll do the cold plunge now that it's nice and big. Do we have a time frame on that? That you'll do it by?
Whenever you get it done.
Really? That's exciting. Whenever I get it done, Dad will do the cold plunge. Oh my God.
The interior of the chest freezer is now as naked as it's gonna get of the old caulk and Flex Seal. So we're now going to use the new caulk using 100% waterproof silicone. And when you're cutting open a tube of caulk like this, like that, and then we'll take a caulk gun, and at the end of most caulk guns, a lot of the times they're right next to the trigger, you'll take this needle and you'll use that to poke through the hole you've made, and you're breaking the seal at the top of the tube of caulk. Load the caulk in, and we pump. And you don't want to pump it too hard until you're ready to use it. But now it's nice and secure in there. And now we are going to caulk all the seams or joints here where water could escape. For example, down here, all around the base of the perimeter, up this fold right here, along this bench line, along this corner, and up along this fold. Now, most of the time when I would caulk something like, say like a shower, windowsill, baseboard, I'll keep my finger up past the tube and I'll kind of flatten it out and keep it nice and pretty. I'm not gonna do that with this. I wanna just cake as much caulk into here as I can, and it'll kind of have this lumpy bumpy effect in the end. This is Lola. Now that I have put in these big, ugly cake frosting caulk joints, I'm just gonna let it dry for at least 24 hours. And then once that drying process has ended, we're gonna do a little water test and just slowly start filling her up, see if she leaks. If she doesn't, we can move the equipment from the old tub to this one, and I'll explain what that is later in this video. And I'll list it all below, and probably not rake in any Amazon affiliate links. Be cool if it did though. All right, that's it for tonight.
One eternity later.
Okay. It has been weeks, possibly months since I started filming this video. I've had several haircuts and shaves of the face. We have finally gotten this thing waterproof, watertight. I surely hope so. I'll be showing you the 2 items that I have suggested below that will keep your water moving and keep this thing set at the temperature that you'd like, so it doesn't freeze over and or get too hot. The first thing that we'll be breaking out is the aquarium pump. The aquarium pump we're gonna use to keep the water circulating throughout. It also acts as a bit of a filter for what little debris you're gonna get in there, because you're gonna wanna be getting in this thing clean, dusting your feet off, taking a shower beforehand to prolong the water life, because this is not a $5,000 cold plunge. It's not gonna be filtering everything for you, nor have I guided you through the whole like filtration. All right, we got the little suction cups down at the bottom of the aquarium pump. This is gonna get its own outlet. Look at that, it's dry pumping. All right, not to be confused with dry humping. This sucker is gonna go in anywhere in the plunge. There we go. That's gonna keep the water moving. Part 2, this is your Inkbird thermo regulator. This one includes the temperature probe. There's an option on Amazon to buy one of these with Wi-Fi or without Wi-Fi. I'd suggest the one without Wi-Fi. My uncle had the one with Wi-Fi, said it didn't work too well. This is what it's gonna look like out of the box. You've got its power source. This is the temperature probe. And then you'll have a source for heating and cooling. I like to use these Velcro command strips. They're pretty hefty. So we're gonna use that to attach it near plunge, near enough that this can reach into it, into the water. This gets its own outlet. This will go into the water. Just tie it around the pump here. And then what we'll do is take the freezer power cord, will go into the cooling outlet of the Inkbird. Okay, when we have held the set button for 3 seconds, it'll prompt us into the setup flowchart as seen in the manual here. But it's kind of a complicated manual, so I wanted to explain it a little bit for you. So we'll hold set for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3, right? It's on Celsius right now, so I'm gonna flip through these settings until I see this, and I will switch it to Fahrenheit, and then I'll keep clicking through. This TS, temperature set value. Mom, what temperature would you say you'd be comfortable getting in here at?
86.
86, that's a hot tub. All right, what is the most uncomfortable you'd be willing to get in at?
What did you have it at before?
What did
when I
have?
got in?
Upstairs, I had it at 50, 55.
That was pretty cold.
Yeah. So you'd be willing to do that again in this one?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we'll go at 55. And then HD means our heating differential value. This really doesn't matter because we don't have a heating source. So we're gonna go to the cooling differential value, and we're gonna set that at 5 degrees, more or less. So this can get up to 60 degrees, and when it does, it'll kick on the power to the freezer, and it'll cool until the water temperature is 55 degrees again. And then the rest, alarm high limit, alarm low limit, compressor delay, temperature calibration, temperature unit, doesn't really matter. This will have us working like we want to work, and we're all set up. Okay, so once you've gone through setting your target temperature at whatever you'd like, please be careful. I'm not, don't get hypothermia, be safe, yada yada. Look up safe guidelines for this practice. But once you've set that, and you've set the cooling differential, you need to hold for 3 seconds again. And when you have your target temperature showing up here next to the SV, that bottom row, then it's locked and loaded. And you'll see that the thermometer is reading that the water is currently 66.6 degrees Fahrenheit. God help us. Since I have the freezer plugged into the cooling outlet, it's marked as cooling. That means that the freezer is on and the water is cooling through the nature of the freezer. Tomorrow, Mom will be hopping in to give this thing a debut, and her eyes are widening behind the camera, but I can assure you she's very excited, and we think her